Greetings. What a wonderful day today has turned out to be. The word of the day is passion, which I shall talk about as we go through this video. I've made a few notes because there's lots to put together for this one. So over recent videos I've mentioned about Wagner's Ring, and principally talking about Loga, the god of fire, who is sent out to scour to find anything that is of equal value to the goddess of love, which gives the gods their eternity, because she tends to the golden apples in that story in the Norse mythology. It's like so much else. Don't see these characters as personifications. See them as aspects of yourself. So we put this into the context of Wotan, the ruler of the gods, or Odin if you prefer, directs Loga, the god of fire, out into the world to find something that is equal to love. So, putting this into context, your mind is your Wotan, that has your conscious mind, that is going out and seeking externally and comes back with no answer. So we all play these parts, whether you want to take the biblical script or any film or anything else. They're all aspects. All these characters are aspects of us in these scenarios. I'll give you another real life one. I'm not going to mention who I was talking to, but basically it goes on the lines of, I'm talking on the phone and saying, right, to restart your boiler you need to go up in the loft, turn the dials down, press the pilot light, and so on. And it's, I don't like going up the ladder, I have a fear of falling. When I look down the stairwell, that's looking over the right. The right is going forward. Now you're going up into the loft and you're coming back down. So if you're looking over your left shoulder, it's a much shorter distance. So it's basically cast your nets on the other side. Don't dismiss all these little things that are shown to us that might appear to be negative, but just observe, stand back, be the observer of yourself, of what's being presented to you with every situation. Where do we want to go from here? The word passion, and this is one of these wonderful synchronized thoughts today. I was talking to Christine. What's her channel called? It's gone. I'll put the link in the description, along with many other links that I'm going to mention. And she had the word pass, I had the word passion. I'd got a few bits and pieces inspired for this video that I wanted to put together. But you don't let these things, you don't force these things to come, you just let them come. The answer will come. It's a wonderful book by Dr. Robert A. Russell, which you'll find in a playlist on this channel. It is not quite so biblical as Neville Goddard, but it's exactly the same message. And that is exactly what it is. The answer will come. Let's examine what will is. The will, the W, your conscious and your subconscious. W-I. I is singular. Single I. And then two L's. Lower calf and the foot. So the will. It is the higher consciousness. Through the singular I. It is by stilling the mind in the meditation The conscious and the subconscious are in unison. It's played out in this reality as that whole transgender thing, but it is your divine masculine and your divine feminine working together. That allows the electromagnetic frequency, the power and the wisdom of the Christ, the sun that is inside you, to rise up to the heavens. The let's get the word right. The magnetic energy, the magnetism is from the heart that draws up the sun to the Father, to the heavens. There's some wonderful sayings which are within this book, The Answer Will Come, by Dr. A. Russell. Take no thought, Jesus says. The Son of Man cometh at a time when ye think not. Two massive clues there. Take no thought. That is telling you to still the conscious mind, the deceiver, the one that will keep putting all this chatter in. The sun will only come when that stillness happens, that allows that raising of that Christ consciousness within you. So you don't think about things. This reality is getting us to think all the time and keeping that mind cluttered, keeping it busy. This reality is all about distraction, keeping your mind occupied. You are occupied when you are in an occupation. It is ocular. The eyes of the deceiver, it is keeping you distracted to the external all the time, tying up your time. Time. So how do we do this? Well, one expression of it is to say pray. So how do you pray? It's not getting on your knees and bowing to some external thing and saying, oh, forgive me or grant me this. They will be unfulfilled prayers. You go with the law of assumption. You have the gratitude, and you go with the assumption that you already have it. You implant this into yourself with such an overwhelming feeling, such a passion, such a desire. There is the passion of Christ being shown to you. The desire of the Christ is to ascend, to arise. But he can't do that unless the conscious is stilled. It creates an interference frequency because it is drawing in externals. So you go into your closet, that means you close your eyes. You're not using a telescope to look at the heavens. You are looking at using an in-scope. It's coming from the heart, so you're still looking up to the heavens. And you're drawing up that Christ consciousness with this energy will rise if you allow it to. It's the electromagnets rather than just simply the electrics of the mind. Let it come. That doesn't mean let something come from outside of you, something external. You're letting something arise within you. The God of fire, the Loga, that is your passion. That is wanting to help you. You walk hand in hand with it. When it discusses about Enoch was taken, doesn't mean he was beamed up by a UFO or suddenly disappears into the ether. The conscious character, we can express it as being a man, if you want to give it a physical form and see it as that. Enoch backwards with a soft C is shown. Enoch was shown. So he was taken by the Creator because he handed over his personality, that conscious mind, so the vessel can be used for the Creator, or your higher consciousness, whatever you want to call it. These are all labels at the end of the day, but they all mean the same thing. It's just different expressions yet again, but they're man-made labels, which in this reality we're stuck with. That's what we've got, the tools we've got to use, so we use them as best we can. But this isn't easy to explain at times. It's easier to see it in the mind than to express it at times. But this is also will answer the question of which are the right channels to listen to. Well, first and foremost, the channel you should be listening to most is your gut feeling. That is your Christ consciousness. That is the thing that is going to guide you more than anything else. But just listen and observe. Your discernment, your knowledge and experience that gives you wisdom from past encounters, you'll know instinctively. You'll recognise those that are talking from the heart, those that have a passion. They're not just copying other people's videos and regurgitating, for example. It's coming from within, which reminds me, I want to give a shout out. A channel that, in my mind, I see developing into a beautifully landscaped garden. That was how it was shown to me. Jane Lancaster. Now, I'll put the link in the description. She's done a video. Now, what is so amazing and wonderful about this is a story she wrote 19 years ago called The Girl and the Empty Well. Now, I was listening to this, and it's like, wow. That is coming from the heart. That is an original creation, which is something else I want to talk about. What are ideas? What is creation? Well, is not the Creator all about creation? It all starts in the unseen. Things are formed in the unseen. They are thoughts and they are feelings that are then manifested into this physical reality, like this video. That's how this came about. I just sit with it and let it come. That's not to say that I'm not inspired by many of you out there, and it will spark something. It's the collective consciousness. I don't like to use the term because it has hierarchical connotations, but when we're talking about on a spiritual level, it's when we're tuned into that same frequency, and it makes perfect sense. It's synchronized thoughts. We are one anyway. We've just recognized that in ourselves. So this is why so often I will be uploading a video and then I will have a look on Facebook at Cheryl's daily card reading and the tarot card she pulls out. It just resonates. It echoes the same things I'm saying in the video. Same with Pippi on a string with her tarot readings. It synchronizes. Was it Holographic Universe, Christine? We're so much in sync so often. It's incredible. And with Jane Lancaster as well now. Jodie O'Brien, Prophecy Poetry. I'll put the link in again on Facebook. If you haven't read, that is channeled messaging. Creativity, whether it be poetry, whether it be paintings, whether it be poems, whether it be stories. This world is a stage where all, in our own unique and individual ways, we are creating. We are co-creators after all. Let's go back to my notes here. So let it. So you're not actually letting something in, apart from if you want to see it in the sense of your higher consciousness. That's what you're letting in, but you're allowing. You are letting in. You're letting that Christ consciousness up into the heavens. You're bringing heaven and earth together within oneself. That saying about when one door closes, another one opens, well, that again is meditation. Close your eyes. You've closed two windows, two inlets, because you need to be going inward into the meditation. That is how it will all happen. The magic will happen in the unseen. You're not going to read it in any book. You're not going to get it from anybody else. It is something that is personal to each and every one of you to find. Seek the kingdoms of heaven and all will be given to you. It's the short route. Why go round looking externally? And you probably won't find the answer that way. Or if you do, it's a very long, long route. And this realm is all about time. So how much time do you want to spend? The van doth approach. A local van. You can probably hear that in the background, doing the Yankee Doodle thing. It's basically an ice cream van, but wonderful small business, and all power to them. So where are we? Yeah. Give power to Christ or to your ailments and problems. You manifest you. Let that personality, put it over to one side. Get thee behind me, Satan, is what it's saying. The eyes of the deceiver, that's your Satan, if you want to call it that. Again, it's labels. The conscious mind, it will become readily apparent if you've never done meditation. The first few times you try and do meditation, that conscious mind is going to keep throwing things up. It's going to keep distracting you, derailing you, because it doesn't like it. It's out of its familiar zone. But can you see liar in familiar? The whole point of this is to go into the unknown, to step into the unknown. Because you step into the unknown when you are taken, just like Enoch. Take my yoke is another expression which Neville Goddard used, which is a rabbi expression. Take my yoke. You are like two oxen. You walk side by side with the Christ, the power and the wisdom of the Christ. You let that guide you. The Christ is the Son and it is also the Father. This is the complete opposite of this reality, because we're talking about something that cannot be defined. It's everything and it is nothing. There is no way to define this. I'm stuck with that one. It is beyond words. But you just have to, well, you don't have to, but I would advise the best thing you can do for yourself is still that mind. Forget about the external world. That's still going to be there. Do you. You do you, as Levette would say. Go within. Another channel, and I think it's thanks to Santos Bonacci for bringing this to a much wider audience. It's a very small channel that deserves a much bigger audience, called Iridology Diagnosis. And it explains about how the eyes, how you can see the physical soul health just by looking at the eyes. It's amazing. No invasive surgery needed. It is all shown in the eyes, as they say. The eyes are the windows to the soul. And what is a soul? Well, a soul is singular. A soul is a carrier of the spirit. It's the reality that we're in this in this physical vessel. It's just an experience. But it comes back to your free will. Do you want to give the power to the Christ within you, or do you want to give it to the external, to your ailments, to your aches, to your pains? Whatever you think, whatever you feel, you create. You bring everything upon you. Now, you've got an absolute contrast out there. You've got an external world, a screen, a projection in front of you. A lot of it doesn't look that pleasant. Remember, it's just an overlay, it's the veil. But as I've said, it's like there's two veils. Often there's two curtains on cinemas and things, or on theatres. You'll have a more solid curtain and an opaque curtain. Well, it is. it's the mirror again. Lift the veil, but it's also closing the veil on the windows, the deceiver. That's the first step. Because if you're bringing all that and drawing all that in, that's going to affect your chemistry, your biology. It's not going to be a pleasant feeling. But if you close those eyes and you allow that power and wisdom within you that is in each and every one of you, you were created perfect. Why people have got to try and modify things? But again, it's back to this reality. The whole thing with circumcision, it's nothing to do with removal of body parts, whether it be female genital mutilation, which is exactly what it is, or the male mutilation, which is circumcision. Why would a creator create something perfect that then needs modifying? That's just ridiculous. But again, it's just the physical barbaric twist on something that is actually spiritual. Removing the hood. It's removing from round the heart that layer of toxicity that this world tries to generate inside that heart. So you feel hatred, you feel anger, you feel sadness, and all those lovely feelings that you don't really want to be feeling, when you can feel bliss and you can feel love and happiness. You can feel passion, the pass I on. You pass on this outside reality and you pass to the I, so it becomes on. Or you can see it as pass psi on. Pass the spiritual I to the on position. What was the other one I thought of earlier? Another word, omnipresent, often described to describe the creator. Well, omnipresent, omnipresent, the om. God is a close at hand, is a saying, or closer than at hand, because it is the pineal gland. You just got to rewire and reconfigure that circuit and put it in the... Open up those pathways, let those things all happen within inside you. Remember, it all happens in the unseen first. Unlock that, you unlock everything else. So I hope that will give you a bit of inspiration. And Jane Lancaster, I really do look forward to more poems. Any other of you out there who are creative with writing poems, stories, anything, especially if you've written them years ago, have a read through them again. When you start to see the allegory, you'll see that all along the power and wisdom and the creator were already channeling through you. This is why all these songs and things, all these films, some of us are starting to see the allegorical and the true spiritual meaning in these things. It's the same story, just told over and over again, whether it be scripture, whether it be a film or a book. They're all characters. They're all in a play. When you read a book, you can get lost in that book and you can feel like you're that character. In a lot of books, they are told as you are the I of that story. After all, you are the I of your own story with scripture. That's just one way of showing it, one way of explaining it, and a very good way. It's something worth reading. Don't be put off by the veil, the religious bullshittery of this reality, the literal overlay. It's so ridiculous. You'll be puzzling. Why do you think there are Bible study groups? You don't need Bible study groups. You don't need intermediaries either. It is all already within you. You already have the answers. It's just unlocking that door. When one door closes, another one opens. It's the one that is going to let that rise. It's going to take the heart, the gut, and the mind, all in alignment. It's going to take mastery over your L aspect, your ego, your conscious mind that will want you to go off and, I don't know, be greedy and I can't think of an example. I'm way beyond the days of McDonald's, but all those things in that 3D world that are supposed to be treats, for example, which the ego mind will love, the sugary, sweet crap, processed shite, which actually isn't any good for you. So I think we've covered everything now, so I'll put the links in the description. So we've got new channel Jane Lancaster, who I'm sure is going to give us some wonderful creations, and it's her own work, so it's Jane reading her creations, so that's a unique channel. These are the things to look for, those sparks, those gems in this. I mean, if you want to see it in this way, we are all playing the part of the Grim Reaper. We are looking for those little gems. We're looking for the light. We are harvesting from each other, as it were, in a good way, of course. Iridology Diagnosis, another new channel, shows you all about the eyes, how you can tell the health of the avatar from the eyes. Fascinating, and just another confirmation. We're talking about in the iridology, the iridology, the study of the eyes. You've got 7 rings, 7 heavens, 7 chakras. Everything is replicated in us in so many ways. Subconsciously we do it probably with clothes we wear, as it's often be referred to. I'm wearing a prison shirt. Well, we're on Prison Planet. But it's an open prison, and you can still have fun in it. It's not all bad. Yeah, so, and Jodie O'Brien, Prophecy Poetry, that's pure channel poetry coming through there. She's on Facebook. Cheryl's Daily Card Reading on Facebook. PP on a String channel for tarot cards, and there are many, many more. Do check out the playlist sections on this channel. I'm always adding new bits and pieces, the harvesting again, looking for those gems which I think are worth sharing with you. Anyway, that's me waffled on long enough, and I'm going to say, as usual, Tatar for now. But think about what the Tatar is. Because if you're stuck in that conspiracy level theory, what you're saying Tatar to is your own awakening, your own finding you are the co-creator. Remember, it is I am. I is singular. So that's you and I. Am. It's in the present. The time is always now. I am, so it's not I am going to be, I am going to get, or I have done. It is I am. Simple as that. That is what we all are. We just have different masks in this reality, on this world stage, and we all can play multiple parts as well. Otherwise, it'd be like saying Hamlet is only played by Sir John Gielgud, for example. There have been many actors who have played that part, and likewise replicated throughout this reality. There are many parts to play, and many characters to play, and many characters to play those characters. It's all wheels within wheels after all, but just change your perspective. I would say go for an introspective. That's the best place to start. And then just watch it all unfold. But persevere with it. Don't expect it to all come in seconds flat. Like everything else, like learning to ride a bike, learning to drive a car, it takes practice. And it's a far better practice than a doctor or practice. So, ta-ta for now, and aloha.